Hey Ryder, Nev Lappert here from Snowboard Addiction. How's it going? I see you're having a couple of difficulties with your front 540s. One of the main things you're having difficulty with is being able to see your landing or getting lost in the air. And I've watched your video and I can tell you why, so I'm going to freeze frame it and show you why. So first of all, let's watch your front 5. So here you are riding in, Goofy Ryder. Frontside 5, you get it all the way around, but can't really see your landing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow it down. Your entry pass looking really good. You've got the smooth toe edge entry, followed by a heel edge coming off the lip. But what I want you to pay attention to is right here. As you come around at 360, you at the moment are looking for that blind landing, as if you're spinning a frontside 360. And what really happens is a front 3 and a front 5 are very different tricks in where you spot the landing. As a result of where you're looking right now, the last 180 is flicked around. See that? Flicked around. And you haven't been able to spot your landing at all. So even right now, as you're coming down to the landing, you're still kind of looking here, whereas you really want to be looking for a front 5, you really want to be looking ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one of my front 5s so you can see the difference. So in the blue jacket here, as I come in, toe edge, heel edge, pop off the lip. I want you to watch where my head is looking. Can you see at 360, my head is already looking downhill. Whereas at yours at 360, you were kind of looking for that blind landing. Now, because my head's already looking all the way back downhill, watch this. That last 180, I can see my landing the whole way through. So there I am looking downhill. I can see my landing the whole way through that last 180. This is what you've got to work on to get your front 3s, is you've got to be able to look all the way around at 360. Now in general, if I was doing a 360 and my head was already here, so I'll show you what it looks like. Coming off the jump. If I did a 360, see how right now my head's already looking downhill? I would wash out, I would revert, but because it's a front 5, that's the correct technique for doing this. So for you have to bridge that gap between are you doing a front 3 or are you doing a front 5, and realize that the landing is very, very different where you're spotting the landing. Now there's a couple of ways that you can get better at this. One is if you have access to a trampoline, I would go and do a whole bunch of front 5s. If you have one of our tramp boards, do it on the tramp board. If you don't have a tramp board, just do it. But I really want you to focus on looking back downhill. Do that full 360, look all the way around, look back downhill, and then the last 180. So you can fully see your landing on that front 5. Try not to have that counter-rotated last 180, which is what you're doing at the moment. You'll see right at the last bit of your one here, where your upper and lower body spin. You don't want to do that unless you absolutely need to. You want to avoid that. You want to have that clean 540 the whole way through it. Now, the other thing that you could try to do, which will help link your body together, is instead of going for the, I think is it a tail grab or a nose grab? It's a nose grab. Instead of going for a nose grab, try to grab somewhere between your bindings. Now, the reason being is that grabbing between your bindings is going to make more of a lock between your upper and lower body, which is going to keep everything together, which is going to prevent you from doing that counter-rotated 180 at the end. So that's 2 things you can do. Try to mix up your grab, put it in the middle of your binding somewhere. And 2, go and see if you can do a bunch of front 540s on a trampoline, ideally with a tramp board, to figure out where that landing is. And then when you're going off this jump, you have to know, are you going to do a front 3 or are you going to do a front 5? And if you're doing a front 5, do not spot the landing blind. Look all the way around like I was doing. Last bit of feedback, not so important, is right here. If you went a couple of feet further, it'll put you slightly better into that landing. Right now, you kind of came down quite hard, boom, on the knuckle there, which threw you to your feet pretty quickly. If you got a little bit further, you would slide and have less impact on the landing. Hope this helps. This is Nev Lappert with snowboardaddiction.com. Our goal is to improve your riding.